Hello and welcome to another M3DM live stream. This is probably one of the most lively chats I've come into. My goodness, how many of there are you already? I see Corey, Wolf, Aloha, Mini Blaze. Awesome, thank you guys so much for being here. It's always fun to come here and, it's kind of a little welcome committee. I see Mini Blaze has already passed out mugs, thank you very much. And yes, the poll is running right now. It's at the top of the chat, and you can vote for what you want to see me work on today. All these models will get sculpted at some point, but you guys kind of just determine what order those get done in. And it looks like the biomechanical Lich is here. We did do a casual pose, and honestly, I ended up liking this T pose better. That almost never happens. I mean, with this stiff pose here, he could be a Christmas tree topper, he could be a statue, just a general effigy spookiness. And then for our action pose, we have this where he's creeping around. Don't mind his little white toesies sticking out. We got a lot of work to do today. So let me think about any housekeeping that we have, and then we'll kind of get rolling. This request is from Sean Mallow, a Patreon supporter. If you want to make your own Patreon request or get access to 3 printable models, link in description, you guys know the drill. He requested a biomechanical Lich-esque, and he really was just go nuts with it. So that's what we're gonna do. Aloha says, can we get a zoom in on the heart? That looks awesome. Yes, ma'am. I think there is some new proportions that need to be added to this model to best emphasize what we have going on, because the heart especially, I think it's a little too small. So there's a lot that I'm going to be doing during this stream, and I'm really excited for you guys to kind of just hang out, chat amongst yourselves as I kind of get cooking. Let me know what you guys have been up to. Corey, it's been a hot minute. I'm glad you made it home safe. I can't remember what your trip was for, but either way, I hope you had a great time, and welcome back. And also head pats for Ricky, yes. So if you guys haven't been here in a hot minute, we have this really lovely tavern overlay, and I've been leaning into that theme more and more. I even bought makeup for the first time in a few years yesterday, so I have a lip color actually it doesn't translate super well on stream. I have to wear stage makeup practically to make it visible on stream at all. But I have little hair clips so I can keep my hair out of the way while I work. Just little things that are improving. We have an Amazon shopping cart that's full of spooky candles put in the background, and I'm looking at buying a classic tavern styled mug, maybe I'll 3D print and paint my own. I'm not sure. But I'm really running with this theme. I think it's really fun, and when the magic's there, the magic's there, So thanks for being a part of that and making that happen. I'm not even sure where the tavern thing first came from. It might have been Aloha, might have been Mini Blaze. I mean, it just kind of took off. As far as why it's Taverb, just gonna let you guys know, because there's enough of you. I just misspelled it once. I meant to say Tavern, and I typed Taverb, and the chat just exploded saying Taverb. So that's why I have Taverb on there. I do have a repaired version, so sometimes the sign will be fine, sometimes the sign will be broken. It's just a fun thing to have. Last thing about the overlay, if you want your own custom mug, that's totally an option. I've added it as a perk for being a YouTube member. So thank you to Aloha, Monkey, and Non-Sleeper. They have their own custom mugs down here. If that's something you want, again, there's a join membership button. Some are by subscribe, I think. But let's get working on this biomechanical Lich. Alrighty. So for this model, since it's so odd, I'm actually going to bring a base in sooner than later. Mini Play says, I voted for the halfling. That's going to get my vote every time. Yeah, people that like halflings love halflings. There's no neutral for halflings, which I think is really funny. And if I remember correctly, Blaze, that's what you said you would be if you were dropped into a D&D world right now. Alrighty. I'm gonna grab a spooky base to have on here. I might customize it a bit later, but I really want to have a base here so I can proportion it. Blaze says, a mug would hold more coffee. This is very true. I don't even have coffee on me right now, which is outrageous. I think Ricky's gonna just bring me another one some point during the stream. I've already had a full coffee today, but there's no rules against having 2 coffees. All right, there we go. I want to have this base going so I can just begin designing this around it. I know this T-pose is so weird. It kind of reminds me of like, it's almost like a really horrifying scarecrow. There's just a lot that I like here. All right, let's get some color going. Blaze, you'll be happy to see that we were able to successfully pose in Character Creator 4 and come back to the program with color still there. It took a little bit of trial and error, but we got it working. So we're all set on that regard. All right, right now I'm kind of just doing a nice little poly paint on this. Something subtle, back face mask, and then probably a red highlight on there. This does not affect the resulting 3D model. This is just a fun thing that we do on stream because everyone kind of agreed it's nice to have. I am immensely excited for Monster Hunter Wilds. It technically comes out tonight for me at midnight, so I guess it's still just tomorrow, but I'm probably gonna stay up and play it tonight. I'm really, really excited. I have a new channel in our Discord that's just called Monster Hunter, so if you guys want to like join up, find people to hunt with, that's an option. I will be one of those people. I haven't decided if I'm gonna buy it on PS5 or Xbox Series X yet, so once I decide, then I'll share which gamer tag is relevant. I haven't played online with people very often, so I'm a bit new to figuring out how to even like link up with people and get into a server and stuff, so please be patient with me, but I'm really excited to play with you guys later. All right, let's go ahead and get this stamped here. So as people kind of come in and out of the stream, they can see what the heck is going on. Mini Play says, sorry, I banished for a bit, had to full clothes and put on another load. That's actually, I just heard my washer do its little song. At what point did washer and dryers have such long ending chimes? Like growing up, I remember just like a loud buzzer, and now it's got like a whole song and dance. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, let's go ahead and adjust the proportions a touch. I really want to emphasize this heart. So we're gonna kind of peel back this rib cage and increase the size. It's kind of a rule of thumb for me whenever I am making an object smaller or bigger and making a design change, not just like a tweak. I like to change it by at least 25% to make a meaningful difference. And it kind of stops me from just like fussing around and making a bunch of tiny changes that don't really make a big difference. There we go. That's much more apparent now. I was already thinking of that, and then once Aloha asked to see the heart up close, then I realized, for sure, we gotta make it a bit bigger and more visible. We're gonna be adjusting this like metal chains quite a bit. This model's gonna be darn near supportless. There'll be supports needed on these claws, and that's about it. So yeah. Blaze says, are you putting a few mechanical bits on the heart, or is that tubes going in? Honestly, it's both. It's really gonna be kind of up to how you decide to paint this. It's like the rib cage, which are doubling as tubes at the same time. It's just a really fun design that I'm playing with. I don't have like a super strong set of rules or direction I'm trying to hit, because the requester, Sean, he mentioned, he's like, just go nuts with it. I know you'll make something fun. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. All right, we need to detail this head dress much, much more. It's kind of just like a blob right now. It's not really having any particularly strong fabric folds, and I'm worried it's a bit on the fragile side. So let's go ahead and just completely reconstruct this. There's two ways I can do that. I can Dynamesh or ZeriMesh, but before I do that, I want to add some more material to play with. So right from the get-go, I'm going to use Move and Backface Mask and just drag a bunch thickness straight back. And then I'm going to inflate the entire thing and then Dynamesh. There we go. And yeah, I'm aware it's kind of covering his face right now. We're redesigning this head cowl entirely. Aloha says, I see a lot of biomech themes in D&D. Is it like a race of beings like this? I don't believe so. Sorry, I saw a question about Maverick and got distracted. So I said I mean, there's constructs and like automatons, but I don't think there's like a race of biomechanicals, but you can homebrew anything you want. Maybly says, the pup's bed is gone, or is he closer? He's actually in the other room with my husband because he's probably chewing on his bone and it's really loud. So we decided to put him in the other room for today. But I appreciate you guys asking about him. He's doing good. Blaze asks, what drink does Non-Sleeper have? Aloha has resin, Monkey has a banana. I think I just gave him like a bubbly ale, which is probably not really a thing because it looks more like soap. I'm not sure. He didn't specify what drink they wanted, so whenever they join the stream next, I'll probably touch in with them if they want to have a custom drink of some sort. And then Blaze requests for me to Ricky to get Mia some coffee, please. Yes, I would quite like that. Hindsight's here. Hi, welcome back. Mini confetti for you. And then talking to Aloha, the closest race would be Warforged. Yes. But those are more android than cyborg, true. And there's a class of artificer which allows for artificial limbs and such. Yes, playing as an artificer is actually a lot of fun. In the last game I played in California, there was a girl that played an artificer and she had like a biomechanical panther that she had built, and that was pretty freaking cool. You know what? Let's do something fun on this stream that I know you guys haven't seen. Did you guys know that I can simulate fabric in ZBrush? I don't do it very often, but I bet you guys would enjoy seeing it. So if you haven't seen it before, just pay a little bit closer attention in the next couple minutes and you'll see a simulation. I almost have all my things ready to get that rolling. Get on the right side, over here. There we go. There's a lot of little things you can set up when you're preparing to simulate a fabric, including like collision volumes and how thick you're gonna say the material is, all that kind of stuff. All right, it's gonna be on the thinner side. I'm gonna have self-collision enabled, firmness. And yeah, let's see how this simulation works the first time. I'm gonna reduce the strength of gravity because I'm a demigod. Jokes. Because if the gravity is set to 10 by default, and it's way too strong. All right, I'm gonna run that simulation and there you go. Obviously, it needs some shaping and some playing around with, but if you guys haven't seen this done before, it's kind of fun to see. It's not an end-all be-all for sure, but it's really, really fun. And you can get some fantastic results by using dynamic plus simulations. Do not simulate fabric that already has existing thickness. You can simulate it, like I have dynamic here, but I can turn that on and off. Go ahead and check this out. You'll see it actually like disappears because that thickness isn't actually there. If you try to simulate fabric with predetermined thickness, the mesh just becomes a disaster. But yeah, just kind of a fun thing if you haven't seen that before. I'll kind of play with this. And then something that's really cool is you can also simulate fabric based on the masked area. Another thing you can do is you can actually combine this with the transpose line. So if you're not sure what that means, I'll show you. So instead of having it simulate where I click run and it just does it itself, I can actually control it with the 3D gizmo, which is my favorite way of using it. So I'm actually simulate this manually by clicking and dragging right here. And it is sensitive to speed. So if I click and drag really slowly, it does simulate different than if I were just like to rip through the model. If I go really quickly, it just tears right through. So the speed at which you do it does matter. Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. And then Ricky says to Blaze, I have to pace her being me. She gets coffee in about 30 minutes. She just finished her first cup. Way to out me. It wasn't like a huge cup of coffee. Blaze says, oh, the base works. Maybe turn him around so the skulls are in front. Yeah, I actually have the skulls right here as a separate subtool entirely, which means I can grab them and we can move them around however we want. Oh, let me change this so we don't simulate the base. There we go. But yeah, I'll go ahead and put the skulls up front. That's a really good point because I'm probably going to forget if I don't do it right now. Everybody loves a good skull pile. There we are. All right, back to this fabric. Aloha says, ooh, a long cowl over his body looks great. Yeah, isn't that pretty cool? I know it. Based on the chat right here, we have a lot of returners, and I know a lot of you guys are also 3D artists, and it's just kind of fun to put these little seeds to inspire you guys to work with later. It's definitely one of those things where look up a video first, because if you just try to play with dynamics right away, just don't expect a great result. It's very, very, very picky. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. Goodness, if you just like click simulate with like the default settings, it's a bit of a disaster at times, especially if you don't have dynamic thickness on. So just putting that out there in case you want to play with it and you're like, wow, this sucks. It doesn't suck. It just needs shaping. All right, let's go on with the transposed cloth. And we're going to move this around a bit. I need to change the shape. You know what? Instead of changing the shape, how about... Sorry, I'm talking and thinking at the same time. I need to decide how I want this to be shaped before I simulate it. So I want it to kind of go over his face, but showing some of it. So what we'll do is we'll angle this little diamond piece of cloth, just a touch. And now let's see what result we get when we simulate it. Okay, the cloth is way too small. It looks like he just has a little hat, so that didn't work. We're gonna make it much larger and more towards the front. I'm also gonna make the material a bit thinner, and then we can add that thickness back as needed. It's definitely a tricky balance when you're designing for 3D printing like I am right now, of making it so everything plays nicely. I don't mind a lot of this face being covered. It's actually quite cool. And something else I can do is it's sensitive to masking. So if I mask the top here, so I painted it black, and then I run the simulation again, it will not affect the area that I mask, which is pretty awesome. So I can turn off gravity and go to contract, for example, and then it'll bring the material back up. Something I like to do instead is grab that transpose line, and then I can kind of like wiggle it myself. So what I usually do is I don't use the simulation for getting a lot of detail per se, but I instead get an organic shape and then I detail it by hand using standard brush, which you guys see me do in most of my streams. Hey, Monkey's here. Hello, hello. I'm deciding that members get confetti when they see them. Welcome, Monkey. And your mug is here. So down below we didn't even put your name on it. It just has a banana, and you don't even have a drink. You just have another banana inside of the mug. If you want something else, definitely let us know. But it was fun designing your mug. Thank you so much for being a member. Blaze says hello, Monkey, as well. And Hindsight says, I wish he was still floating with mechanical tentacles coming from under the robe to attach him to the base. I mean, that's kind of an interesting idea. Having him be suspended by just... I think it'd be a little too fragile when 3D printed. Cool concept, but maybe not very practical. So maybe just print your base transparent and then everybody wins. Monkey says, banana good. Very good. Play says, how thick do you need to go, or do you just eyeball it? A bit of both. I go as thick as possible with my materials without it looking too chunky. So if you can't see it, I just make it solid. Very good question. Blaze says, so guys, while Mia's working, I'm gonna read this one. Let us talk about saving. I understand document is not a good idea. Yes, this is a really goofy thing. If you click on document, you're just saving a picture of your 3D model. There's only one way to save in ZBrush, and that's going to File, Save As. That's it. That's your only option. You can save a ZPR or a tool, that's fine, but you must save as. Hindsight says, they'd be thicker than his arm tendrils, like Doc Ock style. I mean, we can do that. We can do that. And these are kind of more like placeholders. So once I'm done with this cowl, I'm going to play with the idea a bit more. Don't let me forget. Wolf says, is there an autosave option? Kind of. I chronically quick save. That's what they're called. They're stored in your lightbox, which you bring up with comma. So you'll notice I have quick saves every 3 minutes. So as I scroll through here, you can kind of see like this little movie that kind of populates of all my work in progresses. Great questions. Hindsight talking to a low, like exactly. Floating casters always look more menacing and powerful than staying on the ground. What if something I can do to be a win-win is I can still have this, where did that go? There we go. Some of his skirt touching the ground. I can just give him kind of like an asymmetrical skirt almost. And then just the back part will touch. And then I can keep that floating appearance and we can connect him to the base further. I said I was gonna do this later, but now we're talking about it and I'm all excited. Just a moment. Let me get all my subtools situated and then I'll be able to show you guys exactly what I'm thinking. Why are you being silly? There. Oh, and a reminder that we do have another pose which would not lend itself very well to floating. I'll show you guys that in a moment. But we can have two totally different poses. Maybe I'll have his face covered on this one. It's kind of cool. But here we go. We can get kind of a win-win when it comes to this floating appearance. And I can make these thicker and larger as well. Yeah, hindsight, I think this is going to be a winner. I think you just suggested something really, really cool. And then it's my job to make it actually possible and 3D printable and reasonable. And I think I have accomplished that by just keeping some of the skirt in the back touching the base still. So we still get all that magic and drama. He's obviously floating, but now it's not going to be a nightmare to 3D print and not break. Oh, and Dahlia's here. Hi, welcome back. And yes, Tavern is, we are all chanting, it's floating time. Oh, Ella's here too. Welcome back. Oh, it's just reminding me of the models you made for 7 Deadly Sins. Absolutely. I appreciate that you guys all greet each other. It's very sweet. All right, so it's not detailed, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on this other pose as well. More is more for sure, but I want to make sure that we are as excited about this pose before I spend a bunch of time on it too. And don't mind the fact that like some of this is kind of like distorted. This is fresh out of Character Creator, so it needs shaping and love. But I think it's cool to have like a creeping pose as well. It's not going to be as powerful as the floating, but do you guys think it's worth having this one available as well? I like it a lot. I'm adjusting some big parts of the silhouette just to make sure that I'm giving it the most fair chance before I submit it to you guys for judgment. Blaze says, oh, nice. And Corey agrees. I like that pose. Very good. Blaze says, I think it looks better long once you free a hole for the face. Yes, I'll do that for the cowl. Yes, yes, yes. They need some sort of magic particle. Yes, they do. Discuss amongst yourselves in the chat for a magic particle. Dude, that pose is awesome. Okay, good. So we will have this pose as well and this more unconventional modified T pose, essentially. Very good, very good. We will definitely spend some time loving on that one as well. But in the meantime, let's come back to this and get this cowl figured out. If you're just tuning in, I kind of showed a brief overview of how to simulate fabric in ZBrush. So I'm playing with that to find something that I like. I think I'm going to cut a slit in this right now to make it easier for when I simulate it. There we go. Just gonna cut a piece out of this and then I can smooth with Polish by Features, and I'll even go one step further and I'll Z-remesh to make it so I'll have the best chance when it's being simulated. Now we'll turn back on a touch of thickness and we'll see how this simulates. Oh, it's mad about something. Do not destroy yourself, ZBrush. Nothing has really changed. We'll click recalculate and we'll see if that makes it happy. It didn't. Oh, I forgot to turn gravity back on. Gravity has been restored, all is well. All right, it's gonna just fall off the back of him. So we need to keep adjusting. There we go. I'm gonna use my transpose line so I have as much control as possible. Here we go. That's more of the shape I was wanting. I can also use the cloth move brush, which is really neat. So it's just like move, but it simulates as you touch and move the cloth around. I need to make this fabric piece way bigger. And cutting that slit out of it did not work for anybody. Recalculate, make it big. We'll cut fabric away as needed. Trying to simulate it is way too much of a big brain moment for me, apparently. And now. There we are. Let's pull some more of this. That looks cool. Okay, cool. Thank you, Mini Blaze, for mentioning what was working well on the other one. You're right, it's that length. Here we go. Give him more of a pointy head instead of this perfectly round because it looks silly. All right, and then I can tear up the edges so it's not just like this perfectly smooth tube in just a moment. Very cool. A reminder, you can turn on transparency so I can actually see the head underneath here and have it fit as closely or as not closely as I would like. That looks really cool in transparency, kind of as is. Play says, fragile, but a great idea. Oh, I must have missed the suggestion, because so far it's going really good. Klutz here, hi, welcome back. I did kit bash a model of Vengar recently and use that spell effect to make the model float. Very cool. Wolf suggests maybe a spiral of magic from the ground, like it's trying to summon something. Ooh, that's a very good idea. Aloha asks, can you only simulate using gravity from a top-down piece? For example, is there any way to simulate the dress he has? Yes, that's an option as well. You would simply mask the top of it and then simulate so it wouldn't just fall off his hips. Very, very cool ideas. Thank you guys. All right, we have a bit of a stronger shape here, which is going to be easier for me to work with. Restore all the pieces again. Delete this blob that was starting to rework for the fabric, and I was like, this is just more work than it's going to be worth. Just do it from scratch. All right, I'm really happy with this. I'm going to turn off simulation, and now I can start making some manual sculpting adjustments. Anywhere where there's like funny business happening on these edges here, where you see it collapsing on itself, if you smooth with your min connected points to 1, you can really easily repair it before you make it a real thing. That's going to be thick enough. We'll go ahead and make it a touch bigger. Maybe not. It was good as it was. All right, I'll go ahead and click apply. And now let's start sculpting some fabric folds. I'm going to use my standard brush and lazy radius enable and backface mask. I want these to be really sharp and clear fabric folds, so I'm going to increase the intensity pretty high. And striking out shapes near his face first. I like to start wherever the focal point is because that's the most important and deserves the most of my time. So I don't want to spend a bunch of time detailing the back of it just to decide I don't like it and change it. There we go. They're going to be pretty dense. And then I'm going to grab it from like the apex, like the very top point of his head, and just pulling straight down. Always going back to the front of the model again to kind of check how this is looking. I can also scoop out large bits of material by holding down Alt. There we go. And then all of this is going to get roughed up and not be this perfectly weird smooth edge once I get these shapes blocked in. So remember, you're always working from your biggest forms to your smallest forms. So that's why I'm not adding any wear and tear. Any wear and tear is like small, kind of like scratchy looking details. And again, as I just mentioned, small. So they're not going to come until later on. Whenever people compliment an artwork, usually what gets the most attention are like the fine details, but just don't forget that's not what's actually making the model impressive. It's the same way like nobody likes cake for the icing. In fact, most people don't even care for icing. That's just the detail. The actual cake itself must be good. So think of your primary forms as being that base. That's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and refine the shape a touch more. I like it's having a bit more of this steepled look. Very good. Monkey says he has his blankie now. He just needs to summon his teddy bear. That's one way to look at it. Aloha says, might be better to do this towards the end, but having some ooze or particle thingy like smoke drooping down across his body across the base. Okay, that's the third time we've had someone talk about particle bits. What do we think about... I'm thinking maybe like some... like a swirl, because someone even said like a spell, I think it was Clute, of... that's what he's based on. I can just tell that you guys are extra creative today, so I want to make sure that I am tending to that creativity. So I'm kind of playing with some shapes right now. Let me know if this is something that you guys are wanting. Obviously, he's not going to just be literally in a slinky. But some sort of spell effect we could have swooping about the model. There's definitely something to this, and the fact that multiple people are having the same kind of vision, I think it's definitely worth exploring that then. It's more on the magic side, that's for sure. I'm not too worried about mesh integrity here. I'm just kind of playing with different shapes. And then let's make sure that we close holes. There we go. Some sort of like swooping form here. I'm wondering if we do some spiral brush effect. The black is pretty interesting. And we can incorporate into this, into the other model as well. Something kind of like that. I'll give the chat a couple minutes here to make sure you guys are up to date. There's a very small lag between live streaming and what you guys are seeing. And we can kind of work on developing this idea as it continues. If I do a spell effect like this, it will allow me to raise the model even higher, like this, which is pretty cool. So I'll let you guys discuss. How tall is this model going to be by the time that we're done? My goodness, it's going to be like 10 feet tall. I don't know if these little spiky bits are going to be part of the model anymore. They probably need to connect down here instead. We'll play with it. Ella says, the swirl brush is truly that girl. Accurate. Clute says, there you go, posted a turnaround for you. That's in our Discord talking about this model that they made with a spell effect on the bottom. Oh, it came out really small. Oh, that's very cool. That actually ends up looking very close to what I end up doing. If you want to see what he's talking about, join our Discord. There's a link at the very top of the chat saying join the tavern. There you go. All right, let's see what we're thinking. Minnie Blaze says, it needs some ragging too. Absolutely. We can come in with our damn standard brush and use our alpha. And I'll let you guys kind of tell me what you guys are thinking here too. And Monkey has a good question. Yeah, what in the world is this magic going to be? Minnie Blaze says gray-black. That's true, but I think we could even do like a bright red and then tint it with like this cursed, you know, black. I kind of like that just for readability. I'm tempted to make it just neon green. I don't know what in my head is thinking neon green, but something's thinking green. I don't know, green evil. Wendelia, green is also a good spooky magic color. We're on the same page. Aloha says blood magic. Oh, you're making me think about Dragon Age. It's like my favorite series. The red does fit really well though, and then we're on that blood magic theme. Blaze agrees, blood magic. All right, I think blood magic it is going to be. We've kind of gotten to the point where when you guys make a suggestion, I'm starting to take it like as law, because you guys objectively make the models better every single time. And then that combined with like my years of experience of actually balancing a model and, you know, like the artistry of making an idea possible. It's such a cool dynamic. And I'm so happy to have you guys here. Thanks for working another shift at the tavern. Monkey says purple and red with black highlights. Okay. Or green aqua blue with yellow highlights. All right, let's try to achieve that. I have red with black highlights right now, but I haven't delved into these purpley colors. So maybe I can do just a few accents here and there with this bit of purple. Blood magic coming from the heart. Oh. That would make this make sense. We are all sending love to Aloha for making that make sense. That's fantastic. Yes. It needs to look like it's weaving in and out of this structure here. Good one, Aloha. I can even duplicate this and mirror it. It's gonna look really busy for a moment here. Just wait for a second. I know this is too busy, but you gotta admit it's kind of cool. And then I can move some of this aside and erase this entire bottom half. I just want to make sure there's at least 2 tendrils coming from the heart. And I'll grab my transpose line and stretch this down. I'm going to link it all together so it's still going to make sense. We're going to delete these little biomech pieces at the bottom entirely because they are not making sense. And we're going to calm down this spell effect as well. We're going to make it skinnier. That way we're not losing the silhouette of the model. Fantastic idea. Just got to rein it in. It's your guys' job to run wild and share these really cool ideas with me, and it's my job to make it actually look good. I'm going to give this red spell effect a little bit more care and attention. There we go. That's the contrast I wanted. It's pretty awesome, guys. That is pretty awesome. All right, I've completely forgotten about this cowl. Gonna get back to this. sharpen up some of these corners. And then add some wear and tear. We're gonna have back face mask turned on to make sure that I'm not losing any important levels of detail. Whoa, this is at 8 million points. Let's not be insane. Very good. Yep, you guys are objectively making this model better. Unsurprising. Very cool. Ella, make it rainbow. No, Bone Band Ally. No. Aloha says, do we have any ideas for refining that big ornamental piece on the head? Yeah, let's talk about that. There's a lot to consider here. What if we just didn't have that? What if I took this piece here doing a little bit of cooking for you guys to review in just a moment. Because that other spire piece doesn't necessarily super match. So what if we just reconstructed it to be a more simple material, or not material, but shape? Like that. It kind of fits better than this round tube one that I had before. This. So something that's a little more minimalistic, if we could even call any part of this design minimalistic. Just a moment. I'm gonna give you guys a side-by-side to review. Confusingly, the one on the right is what we had before. Biomech wings. You know, I was thinking about the wings too. We're not adding a teddy bear. Oh, I still have hearts on the screen for Aloha. I think the Biomech wings, I even thought of that before. Yeah, the repeated forms ring better than the tubes. I agree. That was kind of just part of our concepting process. Let's go ahead and remove that. Blay says, Mia does know when to rein us in. Absolutely. Ella's continuing with the teddy bear theme, which is not happening. All right, let's merge these down. I'm officially making it my job to simplify this design. So that involves, interestingly, deleting a lot. It's going to be worth it. And adding perhaps a thing or two. I really know it makes the design more complicated. What if it had biomechanical wings? This might be an idea that even if you guys are like, no, it's busy, I'll be like, you cannot stop me, it's too cool. Pretty freaking cool. Because they don't even have to be like that big, or by that I mean like detailed. Just by having it here as part of the silhouette, I mean it's just epic. It's just so cool. I do need to pick a different metal tube thing that's going to complement this design a bit better. I'm gonna throw that up there for you guys to look at and discuss. IMM curve. There's actually is a like tube brush. I think it was someone just suggested like a more Doc Ock style, and that is what I had in mind. Some of these curve brushes are not to be trusted though. And by that I mean not 3D printable at all. So I might need to just make my own, which would be just fine. Alright, these tubes are more so what I had in mind, and much more biomechanical. So we're going to hide these tubes for a moment, which I very helpfully named Drapey. I kind of like it without the tubes entirely. We're going to have a lot to discuss in a moment here. Polls will be incoming. We could just do less tubes as well. Trying to get once Z to behave, but it's being a brat. There we go. These are much better than the types of metal that I had before. Especially for the theme, biomechanical. I just wanted the silhouette more than anything. Alright, we got some interesting ideas going on here, y'all. It is time to reconvene and discuss. And then I'll make sure I put a poll of some sort. That way the lurkers can get a say without having to actually talk to you hooligans. Aloha says, honestly, just a few tubes draping down from the wings would be a good, so they're apart from the wing shape, not separate if it's too messy. I agree. Is Taylor here? Someone said Taylor. Oh, there you are. Hello. Welcome back, Taylor. Imagine we remove our profile pictures. You would never be able to tell. It's true. Please do not do that. I like it. Yeah, I do too. This design is becoming its own entity in a lot of ways. My problem with the two tubes, I think I'm gonna do Aloha said and scoot them to the back. Aloha, you're a genius. Everybody wins. I thought I'd be connecting the tubes to the arms, but apparently not. Apparently it need biomechanical wings. Are you guys serious? This is so freaking cool. Man, this design has changed immensely. Wow. Okay. Cool. I need to save this. I have like no words. This came out just incredible. This is awesome. Corey says, with some people here, now I can just lurk mostly. Absolutely an option. I appreciate my lurkers equally. Yeah, high fives all the way around. Good job. Man, this is cool. Especially because this is very obviously not going to be someone's player character, so I can make it gigantic and not the most practical. I'm making the edge of the base pure black just for better contrast. Doesn't affect the actual 3D model itself. It's just a nice little readability moment. There we are. Gonna add a bit of poly paint here to kind of better convey the vision that I have in my head. So just in case you guys were on the fence about me adding more and more and more, this should help bring it all together. Wonderful. Pretty darn cool. Aloha says, this is my favorite model. That deserves a confetti moment. I'm really glad to hear that. And the monkey says they are going to play. This is your player character? Really? Taka, who says I'm not going to play that? Y'all are, okay, fine. I guess I'll make it not too outrageously big on the base, and they'll still be more or less mini size and ready to go. It'd be a great, I'm playing this guy at all costs, y'all. Or the definition of those, like, children. From, like, don't do this thing. And now it's like, even though you weren't going to before, now you're going to. It's fine. Let's check the silhouette. Let's do it. Oh, that did not do what it was supposed to. Outline thin is kind of cool for this. It's reading beautifully. It really is. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I agree with the upturned palms. That was just literally not the model when we started, and it has become something different. All right, I'm gonna grab this fellow over here. We need to do a side-by-side of what has happened in the last hour. Most of y'all I know have been looking up, paying attention, but some people are joining and they're brand new. So if you are brand new joining the stream, first off, hi, welcome. Second, pay attention for just a moment. I need to show you where this live stream started. You could just click back, but what's the fun in that? I need to show you definitively, this is why I live stream. So we started with this guy on the left, and now we have this monstrosity. Wow. I don't even know like what to say. I'm so happy with this. By making the other one bigger though, it looks cooler in a way. I'm gonna make this one larger. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All of the patrons of the tavern, A+. Clit says new version is this true form. Absolutely. Aloha, Mia, sell this as a big model, please. Thank you. Absolutely. Blaze wants something thinner. I don't even know what you're wanting thinner. We're still iterating. It's looking really cool. Meditating Monkey says, now he roams the earth looking for his lost teddy bear, which is actually his phylactery. I was reading that seriously for a moment, and then I'm like, the teddy bear comment. No. Hindsight says, this is pretty close to what I've had in my head since the beginning. I do like the magic instead of the tentacles. Me too. I think it's a win-win both ways. And then wanting thinner tubes. Yeah, we can do that later. Monkey says, listen, just because it's my player character doesn't mean he can't be gargantuan. I'm tired of us players being oppressed with medium-sized minis. Beautiful. And Blaze agrees. It's all together now. Take a bow. We're going to have a bit of a celebration moment for how amazing you guys have been transforming this model. Absolutely outrageous. Amazing. This is why as people come in, whether you're lurking or not or chatting, I really encourage you to be part of this design process because it's really a magical thing, and everybody wins. If you're wanting this 3D printable model, this will be on my Patreon. That's why this even became a request in the first place. If you're not already part of it, join for free. There's a free option. And if not that, join the Discord. It's at the very, very top. This is why I'm always recruiting you guys and bringing you together, because it just makes stuff better. All right, how are we going to translate these ideas now to the posed version? Because now they're almost not as compatible. So we'll need to assemble and look at this other one here. There we go. I mean, I think a lot of these ideas will still benefit and play nicely with this design too. So I'm not too concerned. We won't have the tubes coming off, but everything else I can still manage. So not too concerned about that. Very cool. Yeah, he'd definitely be a good big bad evil guy for sure. Taka says, we all gotta find a DM that lets us play as dragons, krakens, and liches. That would be cool. Pookie Bear. And then Play is calling out my husband, Ricky. You're late with the coffee. What kind of room service is that? Agreed. It's canon. His name is Pookie Bear. The teddy bear that became a lich. Oh my god. Clute says, I like that the different pose is different in design. That's a hot take. I did not even consider. That is cool. I do want this replaced though. This spire in the back. I do want to bring in the new one we have here. So this piece will come in and replace what was there before. Just gonna kind of scooch that right on your shoulders. But we'll deal with him later. Let's enjoy the start of the show. And I need to make sure these are 3D printable. I think I can close holes. Sometimes these play nicely, sometimes they really don't. So I will figure that out as needed. And we'll put him stamped on the bottom here. Cool, cool, cool. I love it. I love it so much. Thinning up the tubes as requested. And this is nice because they will be support free. Now I'm not going to forget about the hands too. I do think it'd be smart to have those flipped over. That requires a couple adjustments, so let's go ahead and do that now. Fortunately, this is symmetrical, so it'll be pretty easy to grab these pieces, merge them to the hand, and flip them right over. There we are. Also, this is the base mesh that's underneath. I'm not sure if I've showed this to you guys yet, but this is what we're dealing with underneath. Back to the full model. We don't need to see that. Or briefly we do, because I need to cut his hands off. I'm gonna get myself demonetized. Okay. There we go. You know, it's one of the perks about, like, again, I mentioned, like, the Patreon support, whether you're a member, whatever. Part of the reason why it's so wonderful is that even if I do say dumb stuff on stream, I don't have to worry about getting demonetized because I get all that support elsewhere. A bit of a creator freedom, if you will. All right, let's go ahead and flip over his hands. My husband is going to love this model. This is so up his alley. Cool, cool, cool. Good job. All right. There's lots of chat in here. Let me scroll up, make sure I didn't miss anything. This would be a cool cosplay outfit. A lot of good ideas coming through here. Yeah, he's a mini boss. Sharon the Ferryman. Then you piss him off and bam. Okay, so you guys are really wanting this other model here to not be as menacing. We really want to keep this more on the simple side. That's what I'm hearing. So no wings. Just letting this model be its own thing. Let me go ahead and delete this and bring him back here. Because I do have that model pinned right here with a couple changes. Can we have a unique scythe for the simpler model? We can. I'm gonna make this a poll because y'all are chatty, but there's quite a few people talking anyway. All right, I'm gonna end the poll. Blaze, is it possible to pose again from the new model? I mean, yes, but it'd be a lot of work. I'm making a poll right now. Mikey's here. Hi, welcome. This stream has been on fire. It's been a really good time. I'm doing a poll right now. I encourage you, Mikey's, even click at the beginning of the stream and see what we started with. It looks so, so different. Full credit to the Tavern. Thank you guys. Been a very productive shift. All right, I hope this makes sense. I said, do we make the second pose right size match the left, or a sleeper model that looks different? So the options are let the second pose be different, make the second pose match the first. And that's like stylistic wise. I know it's like a lot of words and it kind of sounds weird. But I like the idea of like a sleeper model, you know what I mean? Like you guys mentioned. He seems already kind of spooky, but it's like you get cross him on his bad side, and then he becomes like the big bad evil guy. Will definitely TPK your party. Clute says, yeah, like giving the hidden form a lantern with a heart in it, and some of that spell effect coming from it in the left hand. Oh my goodness. I have to screenshot your comment, Clute, so we don't lose it, so I can look at that later. You guys are still talking. I'm gonna lose it. Corey, what do you mean by a sleeper model? Kind of like a sleeper car. Well, people like hot rod like a minivan, but you don't know it. So like under the hood, it has like, you know, a super, I'm not gonna get specifics, very beefed up engine. You know what I mean? Blaze, so is it possible to pose him from this model, or is it too detailed now? It's not so much like a detail issue. If you have like good subdivision levels, it's just the way that I ended up constructing it. It'd just be a bit more of a pain. Oh, I need to hide these other tubes. Don't need tubes. Those are the original tubes. There we go. Mikey says, today I'm going to try to make a rock in ZBrush. That's my goal for the day. That is a fantastic goal. And I'm being very, very clear. I'm not being facetious. If you make a goal to just open ZBrush every day, make a rock, make a blob every day. I'm not kidding. That is how I got here. That exactly. So I would love to see your rock in like in our Discord later. That'd be awesome. And then we can all celebrate your rock. Aloha says, imagine what the DM can do for his players having both of these models interact with his players, like before and after a boss fight. Awesome player experience. Yeah, I think that'd be lovely. And that's the kind of, opportunity I want to provide for people that are, part of my Patreon. That's why I provide my entire model library instead of just monthly releases. Because it'd be a bummer if these didn't come out together, and if you missed this, you want to have them together. Corey says, that's a great goal. I need to do the open ZBrush goal. It's tough. Palms up or palms forward? I like palms up because it's going to kind of match the curve here of his biomech wings. Clute said, our DM did that in our last session. Had some characters that went from normal looking fancy humans into epic vampire models. Dude, vampires are coming back and I'm absolutely here for it. This is so fun. Man, I really love what I do. This has been a really pop-in stream too. I'm always trying to recruit you guys. Feel free to stay on the platform you want to be. Subscribe on YouTube if you want to see more. But I really push you guys to be in the Discord because that's where we talk. And that's where you guys can know when I stream next most easily. Man, this is just so cool. I am really blown away by how much your guys' comments transformed and improved this model. And it was such clear feedback and it happened so quickly. We're only an hour in. Just a bit of a recap here. If you're just tuning in. We have this model currently, and we started here. I'm not saying he wasn't awesome. He had charm, he had possibility, potential. Also done on stream. But these aren't even in the same ballpark as far as skill, clarity, and design of silhouette. Oh, Ricky's making my coffee right now. Thanks, honey. And then, let's see. Aloha says to Corey, the tavern expects your rock or blob within 4 to 5 business days. Very nice. We must punish Ricky for being late with the coffee. I don't mind. Maybe he has folded wings in. Ooh, for the second pose? That'd be cool. I'm laughing at Aloha's comment. All right. Well, do you guys have any questions as far as how this was designed or what software I'm using? I'm doing a brief pause right here, give myself a break. And then also kind of reconvene with anyone that has questions about how the model was made, who I am, what I do, all that kind of stuff. Hindsight says, Mia should start paying everyone when you make your Discord announcement. I probably should. I get really shy with doing Discord payings for everyone because I'm in a few Discords that do that, and then I just end up muting them and leaving. And but I don't do model releases every day. I've grouped them into once a week, like a big package. So I probably could do the payings for that. What else I could do is I could create a role in Discord that's live stream or tavern patrons, and I can ping just the tavern patrons whenever a live stream is coming up. That way people can opt in, and I don't just yell at everybody in the Discord when there's a new live stream. Let's see. Play says, so is it too detailed to pose without a lot of work? Yeah, pretty much. Corey says, not about that, but I was wondering about how much your giant prints cost. I don't actually sell prints. I really just share the files, but I have many merchants that would love to help you, I'm sure. Hindsight says, yeah, but then it's their choice to mute or leave it on. That's true. That's very fair. Hello, you can create a server role for those who want to opt in or opt out. Oh, we said the same thing. We sure did. I'll probably do that. And I want to create some more roles for our mini painters, our 3D modelers, that kind of stuff. So it's just a win-win all the way around. What do you want, Mia? I don't know. I'll think about it. Did you see what they did with this model?
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
I know.
It's
right?
very cool. I love it.
It's been a very productive shift at the tavern. Tavern regulars assemble. Yes. The urge to call you guys peasants is high, because patrons and peasants in my head sound kind of the same. And I can call them peasant poles. Kari says, I mean, what's the cost to print the giant ones? Not much. So you can kind of extrapolate. So minis like this cost about, I don't know, I calculated at one point and it was 8 cents, but resin was more expensive then, so it's probably only 5 cents. So to print this big, no more than $1. It depends how big you want to print it, I guess, but to print it like, no more than $5. His name is Pookie Bear. And yeah, my bad, Corey. I totally misinterpreted your question there. Thank you for re-asking it. I love that. Like, if you guys ever ask me a question and I just totally answer it wrong, just ask again. I have no problem rewording. Michael says, I'm a total peasant. Tavern peasants. Are you guys okay with that? I would love to call you all the tavern peasants. You're my peasants. Peasants have more fun at Ren Fair. It's true. Corey says, that's resin? Yeah, this little one. This? Yep, this is out of resin. The giant one that's behind me back there, which I think you guys can see, that is FDM. Let me go ahead and grab that. I can show you guys FDM. And make this big. This is FDM. So I recommend when print it like this big, just use filament. It's so much easier. And if you have a fancy printer with different colors, like a Bamboo Lab, you can do it all at once. This is not painted. This was printed like that. We're doing another print like this, so I don't keep showing you guys the same example. And then yes, this is resin, which I know you guys can't super tell the detail on it because it likes, I cannot get the webcam to not focus on my face, which I know is its whole job, but still. But yeah. That was another model we made on stream, actually. Okay, I'm small again. Yes, you guys should all make rocks and then share it in the student work in the Discord. Aloha says, I'd love to order some of Mia's models as prints, considering I can't print myself, but I feel like she won't think I'm trying to eat it. Corey says, what's the difference between FDM and resin? FDM stands for like fusion deposition modeling, and that just means it's fusion of plastic. So you're layering plastic up on itself. So resin printing is taking a liquid resin and then it's curing into a solid layer by layer. So they're both layer by layer processes, but one is a liquid to a solid and one is just melting plastic. Generally speaking, resin prints are much higher fidelity and higher detail because their layer heights are smaller, which means there's just more layers making up. So the smaller your layer is, the more detail you can cram in there is kind of how you can think of it. So there you go. And then everyone is answering in addition, which I love that. Read all those comments too, because as many explanations as you can read, the better. Monkey says, I'm making maps today, making modular rooms for building bastions for the new bastion rules. Very cool. Monkey, you do not self-promote nearly enough in my Discord. You should be just sharing your stuff all the time. I know my people will buy your stuff. Make sure you do that. You have fantastic stuff. FDM is like a hot glue gun. I like it. I'm gonna start saying that. Or as Ella says, FDM is string into stuff, resin is goo into stuff. Beautiful. All right, everyone agrees, let the second post be different. We did have some people saying to match the first, and that's why I like having my lurkers have their say and their vote. I totally understand that. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll. Very happy to have my coffee. Usually I take my breaks off stream, but I already ate lunch, so I'm kind of just taking a small break with my coffee. This is one of my most lively streams. Thank you for being a part of it. I really enjoy this. I'm also gonna fix our tavern sign. That way we have different ones. Bam. All right, I repaired the sign. Alrighty. Playa says, a mug. Yeah, we should have mugs. And that is a merch idea. I'm looking into it. I think I'm probably gonna design my own 3D model. It's 3D printable, so you can slide like a, have like the mug and put like a normal cup inside of it. A tavern mug. Yes, yes, yes. That'd be awesome. Oh, hindsight, you did suggest that yesterday. 3D printable can holder mugs. Yeah, I need to do that. Now I'm actually using a bit more of my mechanical engineering degree, a bit more directly. Great, mine's working again. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna put a new poll in, which is, what's next? Keep working on the Lich, or something new. Make sure you guys vote in that. We'll kind of determine what is happening next. Although it says this model is the best I've seen Mia do. It's my personal favorite, which helps. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, it's pretty 50-50. Calling all tavern peasants. Go vote in your peasant poll. Hindsight says, M3DM, before I vote, what is a hodag? A hodag is a cryptid. It's specifically from Wisconsin, which is a state in America, if you guys are international. There are hodags in Pathfinder, but the Wisconsin one is what was requested. Essentially, it is a reptile-like creature thing. I'm just gonna show it to you guys. It's like this thing. So it's got like tusks and like a spiky body. This is the one from Pathfinder. This is the one they built in Wisconsin. There's a bit of lore that goes behind it too. In 1893, there was a newspaper reporting of a hodag that was found. And then the guy, the prankster, was Eugene Shepard. They said that they had to get dynamite to kill it. Obviously, it ended up not being real. All right, we're half and half. Something new versus something not. Yeah, the genie was pretty awesome too, and that is another option we can work on. All I'm saying is something else when it needs to be a teddy bear. Biomech is slightly in the lead. Oh, nope, we're exactly tied. 50-50. Wolf is back with better headphones. Hello and welcome back. All right. The Biomech is just barely in the lead. We've had 11 peasants vote. More peasants, vote more. I can see there's 16 viewers right now, so we can get at least a couple more votes squeezed out of you guys to break the tie, because now we have an exact tie. Oh, it made it worse. Now we have 12 votes, and it's exactly tied. Careful what I wish for. They're gonna flip on Discord when you post this guy. I agree. Wolf says, I see you did the magic thing I suggested. Yes, I have some better headphones with noise canceling. Ooh, nice. Yes, I did the magic thing, and we just kept going from there. So your comment really was one of it kind of started this avalanche of ideas, and it really became something incredible. So thank you for that. Biomech has barely taken the lead. I'm gonna give it another minute. And if you're having fun with the stream, join us in the tavern. I have a Discord invite right now. We pretty much just talk about 3D printing, 3D design, and I recently opened a Monster Hunter channel. So if you're lurking, you play Monster Hunter, we're gonna group up there to do hunts together. Taylor says, what if it's forever tied? Then I guess I can't leave. I guess I will just stay here until it's not tied. I guess that's a hack to keep me here forever. Wolf says, yay, Steph decided to slow down too. I assume you're talking about work. I saw that it was kind of giving you a headache earlier. I hope that cleared up. And my dad also works in IT, specifically for the National Weather Service, and it's a tale as old as time. All right, we're back to an exact tie again. Are you guys just fucking with me at this point? Like... You guys are just fucking with me at this point. That's fine. That's fine. I love it. Peasants are revolting. Can someone be good and break the tie, please? Okay, there was a new influx of viewers. We're over 20 people now. There's a poll going right now of whether we keep working on the Biomech Lich or we work on something new. And I'm being spited by my peasants, and they are keeping it exactly tied. So, please vote. No one breaks the tie. Hold the line. Keep me here. Someone asked if, like, what will happen if it doesn't break the tie. I said I'd stay here, and now we're taking it a little literally, aren't we? And then Mini Blaze breaks the sign. Gotta listen to the people. I did say a bad word. You guys are pushing me. That's the perks of being monetized off of YouTube, where I can be a heathen. I can say whatever I want. Patreon doesn't care. Borg said something new, please. It's barely in the lead, so you might get it. I can't undo my vote. Thank God. I was worried you guys were changing your guys' votes to keep it tied. And yeah, welcome back, Borg. Hindsight says, this means I'm not going to hold back next time innuendo or dirty joke presents itself. You absolutely can. The chat might auto-censor you, but you're welcome to say what, you can try to say whatever you want. All right, guys, I'm going to close the poll. It's happening. We're working on something new. Wolf says, it'd be funny if you had keywords in a bot for making events happen on stream. It is, and I have actually been looking into that. I'm always open to new ideas for the stream. Alrighty. We're doing one more poll. That's going to be about what to work on next. And after that, my break will be over and we'll be sculpting. Some of these are already have been worked on. Some of them are brand new. Making 3 options so it's harder for you guys to tie. All right, there's 3 options, which would be very difficult for you guys to tie it 3 ways. Intentional. We're not doing a teddy bear. Although I just fell to my knees. Well, in the meantime, we'll do some fun renders. Also, if you guys have any questions on how this was designed, don't be shy. Please, please, please ask. I'm happy to let you guys see behind the curtain, so to speak. Yes, there is no teddy bear on the poll. Monkey, I'm pretty sure you're a legendary patron. You could just request a teddy bear. It's a tie. That's not possible. It is a tie. Oh, cool. It just broke. I was like, no, I did this so you guys couldn't do that. All right, let's get a fun render on this. So you can open Lightbox with comma, and then under here, there are a bunch of render presets. My favorite are Preview AO, which is ambient occlusion, and radial overlay. So here's like a fun lighting effect. I didn't do like a super great job, so let's kind of rotate it and see if I can get a better one. And if not, I'll go back to Preview AO. We're 40-40 tied. I'm gonna take away polls. You guys are gonna lose your poll privileges. Now I don't even know what you guys want. I feel like you're just voting to be a menace. Which defeats the whole point. Ella says, a teddy bear request is malicious compliance at this point. True, but I do think it'd be a nice, like, kit bashing piece. There we go, that's a nice render. We need a teddy bear request and a 2-legged horse. No. And yeah, it can happen with 3 if you guys are all 3-way tied at 33%. That's outrageous. Yeah, the peasants are being peasanty. Goodness. Well said, Monkey. Fucking peasants. Hindsight says, we can't see the results until we vote. It's legit. Oh, is that true? Oh my goodness. You guys are like, this is like hive mind levels of annoying. The more I complain about you guys, just know it means the more that I like you. That's my love language. Complaining. It's giving Monty Python peasant crowd. It really is. I'm going to start calling you guys peasants exclusively. I've already been doing that off stream, joking, and it's made the cross. Can you imagine, like, hi guys, hello peasants, welcome to another stream. Oh my god, I'm going to come across as so pretentious. Oh my gosh. All right, couple more votes here and we'll get rolling. And then I got a very super secret DM from Ella that I'm going to make not super secret. She is suggesting a books and movies discussion in the Discord. Is that something you guys would be interested in? I've been making more channels and I'm fine to categorize them and keep them all nice and neat. But if you guys want to have a spot to be able to discuss books and movies, let me know. We are proud peasants, Mia. Beautiful. And then Blaze says, and I ask a lot of questions in the right spot now. You do. Would we do that to you? I don't know, would you? You guys are a riot. Corey has an actual relevant on-topic question. Yay! Corey says, is it better to break things up into more subtools rather than sculpting everything in one? Yes, you are correct. It is definitely better to break things into more subtools. It also depends on what you're constructing, but with my new students especially, err towards more subtools than less. And if you're new here and you're like, what the heck is a subtool? I will tell you. A subtool, so right below me, there should be this, I think you guys can see it. Let me double check. Yes. So see these little pieces over here, all these little rectangles? These are all in sections of the model that I have broken up. So the ribs are separate, the skirt, the belt. You can kind of see it changing colors here. It gives me more control. Oh, there's a whole other model as a subtool. Don't look at him. But yes, it gives me more control over the model. Great question. You get double confetti for being on topic. Monkey, the one book we'll discuss, the Bible. I find that unlikely. Borg says 13 votes on the eye is leading. Yes, it is. Though I don't think it was 13 votes on the eye, but still quite a few. All right, looks like the Eye of the Deep has 1. So let's get working on that. That's another pretty outrageous model that you guys helped shape. I have a... Blaze says, I love that GIF, Aloha. I'm assuming there's hijinks going on in the Discord. All right, this is the this is the sea holder. Essentially, it's an Eye of the Deep. It hasn't been super detailed yet, but this design came about really from you guys. The only thing that I haven't been very loyal to the original concept on is lobster claws. I really don't want to add them. But if you guys think that it's necessary or will improve the design, let me know. I just think it'd make the silhouette confusing. And this request is from Bobby. Thank you, Bobby, for supporting me on Patreon. Corey says, thanks. I actually opened ZBrush and making my blob and was just wondering. Beautiful. Make sure, take a screenshot and share when you're done. I'm excited to see it. Sapphire is here. Hi, welcome back. Also, congrats for being my newest mentorship student. I'm so excited to teach you. Sapphire says, as a dyslexic, I kept writing pheasants in my history exam in high school. No one ever told me. That's beautiful. To be fair, sometimes peasants be acting like pheasants, if you get what I mean. No claws, no claws. Right? I agree. Yeah, sounds like a poll. Depends on the pose. Oh, we got feelings on this. All right, I'm gonna show you guys some pictures. So don't vote yet. I mean, you can, but wait. This is the reference they provided, though I can do my own artistic liberty. This is what it's based on. It's from Pathfinder. So you can see the resemblance, but we've kind of gone our own way. I hate the claws. I don't like them. I like what I've done instead. I think it looked dumb, but we can make it happen if we need to. I am starting. Oh, I never launched the poll. Perfect. So I didn't have to worry about that. Ha ha ha. So you guys had to see it. Bam. Now there is a poll live about this. Lobster claws or no? Mini Blaze says, you can hijack the stream for the teddy bear. You actually could. That is a thing I have on the stream. I forgot about that. If you guys make a donation of $5 or more, you can hijack the stream to work on whatever you want. It's supposed to only be a poll option, but Monkey can break rules. Is that the Eye of the Deep? I had no idea what I was voting for. Yes. It's a C holder. Yes. How would you connect it to the base? It'd be a combination of a lot of these jellyfish tentacles will be touching the base, in addition to probably some seaweed or kelp details coming up from the bottom to secure it. I like the cheek ridge, but no claws. Okay, we can introduce that. We have yes on lobster claws winning, interestingly enough. See, this is why I vote, because the lurkers, the majority, have a different opinion than y'all. I voted claws, but small ones. Okay. New pull to force a tie. Bad peasant. Well, you know we all think alike. Y'all really do. Any claw voters will be scooped into the net, the bunking net, by the way. And again, we don't have to make it identical to this. I grabbed some other wild references I found too. They specifically just want a beholderkin, a large orb-like deep sea abomination, protected by spiky chitinous plates with one huge glassy eye in the center and a pair of segmented eye stalks on top. Oh yeah, we never gave him eye stalks. I might just do the lantern, works for that. I'm glad I read that out loud because I apparently forgot some things. We need 2 votes for no so we can tie. No. I'm honestly flabbergasted the lobster claws are winning. Well, in that case, I'll do my best. We all think alike except for the people voting wrong for claws. I agree. I also think you're wrong. And then Blaze talking about the books and movie discussion, as long as there's a spoiler understanding. I don't like spoilers. In Discord, if you put like little bars on the side of your text, I'll put tutorial. It blocks out your text. So pretty much it's like a spoiler tag. So that way everybody wins. So I forgot that this guy wanted eye stalk holders, and it really fits well into that, you know, like a lanternfish. So perhaps we'll just make 2 of them. They're gonna look like antenna though. It's my only issue. It's kind of cool. This is actually Non-Sleeper's idea. He's not here right now, but I think he'll be happy to see. I don't like that. Clute says, and the prompt is asking for chitinous plates. Yes, in order to do that, essentially what I'm going to do is come through here. I'm going to throw a mask over the top of it like this. I'm going to extract it. Z-remesh. So we're going to keep some of that brain coral texture, but in order to get this chitinous plate, we will also have kind of like this hat almost. And then I'll make this hard surface. All right, dynamic, thickness, offset. So there we go. There's a plate. And I would have a few of those layering back. But yes, it looks like a cracked eggshell as of right now. Trust the process. Changing the color so that it blends in a bit more. But yes, those are the plates that will be happening at some point. Blaze is saying no, but also saying dancing, celebrating peasants. So I don't know what we're excited about. And then Borg says, then make an executive choice. I agree. I think lobster claws are going to win. And then Blaze saying to change the description. Right here, I just see holder and Eye of the Deep. That's our tab. Yeah, we're not going to do the dual eye stalks. That's driving me crazy. We're going to do just a single. Because I think we're actually ending up here with a pretty interesting, unique design. And I know Bobby's just going to be happy with anything that looks cool. And so that's what we're going to give him. I'm going to mirror and weld this so it has the texture on both sides, because currently we only have it on one. There we go. Hindsight says, Mia, I don't know if you saw last time you worked on it, but it'd be cool if the eye stalks came out of the craters. However, what if you just included them as separate models? All right, so a separate model would be like in a different piece entirely. You might need a separate subtool. And as far as coming out of the craters, I agree, that would be really awesome. So, like back here, for example, And then make it less curved, because it kind of reminds me of a jester hat right now. We can play with that. Wolf says, I think looking up Tyranids from 40k might help with the claw. Let's find out. Yes, like a spike. You know what this actually reminds me of? So this Tyranid, it actually reminds me of Slivers from Magic the Gathering too. We can work with that. Can we make this lobster claw white so he has a white claw? Monkey, I keep reading your comments like they're going to be serious, and then you say like the funniest, dumbest crap. All right. So what we're going to do for these claws is we're going to duplicate these tentacles that were suggested by the lovely and creative Hindsight. We're going to close holes, and we are going to create some sort of claw. We're going to make them white, ironically. I was already planning on that. Just not like the alcoholic beverage, which is not even very good anyway. Fun fact, I don't drink. I think beer is gross. Everyone's like, oh, you don't drink? Like, what happened? Nothing happened. I just don't. It just tastes bad. All right. In order to make these look like spikes or claws, I'll have to get creative with it. They look like socks right now. And then I can further develop this idea by creating perhaps a duplicate of it. And then going in with Move Topological. It looks like hair, but it won't forever. They look like gloves. I hate it. Nope. Be gone. Alright, I've already done a lobster before, or a giant crab, so I'm actually going to bring that in. I did a living ship giant crab with a pirate ship built into it, so I'm going to show it to you guys in just a moment. This is part of my pirates project, and this is how I'm able to kind of like quickly design and iterate creatures. It's by just grabbing other pieces I've made and kind of kit bashing them together. And yeah, I agree with Mini Blaze. Start out with them small and go from there. I agree, but I really need to grab that like lobster claw shape. I'm gonna end the poll. I'm devastated you guys pick lobster claws. It's okay. Gotta give the peasants what they want. And Taylor agrees. Not a big fan of drinking or alcohol. I agree. Went fishing instead of bar hopping. I genuinely do not remember what I did my 21st birthday, but I can tell you what, I've been to a bar once in my life, and it definitely wasn't that day. Aloha says, there goes me as White Claw sponsored stream segment. Lol. Of all things to be sponsored by, definitely. I don't think someone that hates drinking would be a great representation of the brand. Or maybe it would. White Claws are terrible. Alright. Ella, wow, White Claw slander. You hate to see it. That's right, I forgot you like them. Oh, goodness. Alright, this is a living ship. One second, we're going to see it in a moment. This is obviously not made on stream. I made this a while back. But I have a nice big lobster claw on it. So yeah, it's like a giant crab, but he's also a ship. He brings the party with him. Thought you guys would like to see this, and more than that, I also... Let's get a two-tone on there. I can just kind of chop off this claw right here and restructure it a bit. But yeah. This is one of the many, many pieces I made for my Pirates campaign. All available now on Patreon. Alright, we have a claw. It's a little smushy on the bottom. It's honestly not a fantastic shape. I remember doing a better job. Nah, this is pretty good. This is pretty accurate. Just so we actually have some of this lobster claw S to start with, and then I can kind of piece it together I'm definitely not going to put claws on every single tentacle because that would be silly. But I can do it on just a few. I think it would make the most sense if it was asymmetrical, just like a real lobster where there's one big claw and one small claw. And furthermore, I'd like to have it on just the front tentacles. Okay, you guys are right. This is not the worst thing. This is actually kind of cool. Womp womp. This is why I do pulls. And yeah, so we'll also have the smaller one as well, just like a real lobster. Since we're obviously going for accuracy here. No, no. There you go. I'm like, move, brush, behave. All right, he's got some little hands now to whack, and I think this is gonna look good. You can now pinch people. He's more formidable. I'm pretty sure beholders use a lot of magic as is, so they probably wouldn't even need this. That is fun though. I'm not gonna read that Aloha, but it does make me laugh. Rock lobster. Would they have a set of gills? Perhaps. And then that reminds me what hindsight says, that they liked the ridge on the head from the example. And so let's go ahead and build that up. It's really, really easy to do. I'm gonna come in here with my damp sander brush and lazy radius. That kind of smooths out any shakiness from my hand. Holding down Alt will add material instead of removing it. Come on, highest subdiv, come here. And I can kind of just pull this shape here. Yeah, really good comment. Hindsight, I don't know if I've seen enough of your art, if any of it, but you're obviously an artist and a good one at that. Your comments are consistently helpful. You're really helping me become a better artist. All of you are. But hindsight, perhaps a bit more aggressively. Yeah, that makes the design read so much more clearly, having that ridge here. And then I followed that design pattern. I'm not really sure what to call it. Shape hierarchy throughout the rest of it. And let's go ahead and throw in Mini Blaze's gill suggestion. I can kind of tuck them right here. Just really quick. He's got some gills inside of his head. All of that made the model look better. Of course it did, because you guys suggested it, and that's all you guys do. Taylor says, little guy's eldritch anyway, anything goes. Love that you chose to call him a little guy, but yeah. Hindsight says, I posted a picture in Discord General of what I envision at the end of the tentacles when I said stinger. Oh, I forgot about that. You did mention stinger. Ah, I do like that. I do like that. And Clute provided a quick paint over too. Also looking, oh, it's for like a potential pose. I like that you have it like it's strafing to the right. If you guys want to know what we're talking about, join the Discord. I'll drag it on the screen occasionally, but for now I'm like, no, I'm gonna recruit you guys. All of these memes. I hear peasant conversations. Clute says, I was going to suggest gills on the side. Nice ad. Thank you, thank you. And then, yeah, Hindsight says, it's already a complex AF model. Maybe add the gills under the ridge, which is what it ended up doing. Perfection. Ella says, I think beholders tend to be pretty vain, so I feel like this is giving decorator crap and therefore lore accurate. Leave it to Ella to come in and bring together like backstory and design into like this perfect marriage. It's what you do best. Mini Blaze, you are doing art now. I am. Look at me, art. Hindsight says, I used to be. I haven't done anything artistic in too long. I'm more of an art director at this point. You really are, and you're quite excelling at it. Thank you. You're wonderful. Monkey, you too could see more memes. All you have to do is join the Discord. Yeah, I know I'm being really aggressive with that today, guys, so I appreciate you backing me on it. It's just because, I don't know, YouTube keeps sending great people my way, so I'm going to keep aggressively scooping you up. Hindsight says, vicariously, Mini Blaze, hence the director bit. And yeah, who says directors can't do art? Very true. Very true. I was talking to my husband the other day about the streams, because I talk about it pretty much every day. And that actually is one of my goals for the stream, is I want you guys to like, I joke about having like a productive shift at the tavern, right? But I do want you guys to leave here with a sense of feeling like you helped create something because you did. It's a really cool, special thing. So I'm hoping whether it's like entertainment, some social interaction, or just like flexing that art design muscle, I want to facilitate that here. So the fact that that's happening, I really feel accomplished. It feels great to set expectations and goals and meet them, you know? That's really the recipe for happiness. It doesn't have to be complicated. And then I'm going to refine this other lobster claw here to match more of the stinger that Hindsight provided a link to in the Discord, because it looks really good. I'm even going to color it accordingly. And I'd like even more so if watching these streams serves as an inspiration to get back into art for some of you. I know it has for Corey, which really just warms my heart. I've also steadily become better at taking your guys' feedback and less like defensive. I mean, all artists do it, but I had one stream that was so funny and we all rolled with it, of me being like spicy. I was also just kind of crabby that day, but I don't know. I feel very lucky to have a community like this. If it keeps growing, that's great, but at this point, I'm really protective of it. And if we start getting people from YouTube that suck, we'll just do our own private streams and it'll just be us. There we go. This is a busy, busy design, but God, it's cool. What are we thinking about the tongue? Do we want like, there's so much going on. I don't know. I really appreciate Clute you doing that sketch over, because I was already thinking like, how am I going to pose this? And the fact that you had like this really nice, like, kind of like it was swaying in the ocean. There was like a very gentle line of action there. I think it's going to translate beautifully. Hindsight says to me, Mia, hey, that happens. Sometimes collaboration is amazing. Other time, gotta protect the baby. Absolutely. And I am very protective over the community here and our Discord. There is a reason why the Discord's so healthy and so good. I be disappearing people all the time. If someone's vibes are not matching the rule of cool, I don't even care if they're like not objectively being terrible. You gotta fit. You gotta fit with the family. Obviously, if you're here, you fit right in, so don't be shy. Mini Blay says, ooh, a small fin where the ears should go. Ooh, maybe, and that would make for a more interesting side silhouette too. It makes me want to just give him straight up elf ears. Personally, I get rid of the mouth stuff. The teeth are enough. I could see that. And then Wolf, remember the hug idea for a pose. I will probably keep these arms somewhat forward. So yes. And then yeah, I want to simplify this mouth nonsense. I kind of like the tentacle mouth, but it doesn't read well. I'm going to executive decision agree with Hindsight on that. And then I do need to improve the teeth and like this. I have like a second mouth in here because I was thinking like a moray eel, but that was before the design was as busy and interesting as it is now. So let's go ahead and merge these subtools down so I can hide them and kind of review what we're looking at here. Make this a bit simpler. We still have the 2 rows of teeth, which I'm okay with because I like the front facing teeth, which Aloha suggested. So we're gonna keep that. And then we also need to make these lower teeth larger. I'm gonna grab Move Topological so I can very easily grab individual pieces. Yes. And all the teeth just need to be more crooked. Perhaps some need to be cracked, that kind of stuff. The canines are also not very prominent, and it would just read a bit more familiar if the canines were larger. Beautiful. Definitely have to keep the tongue. Gonna poly paint the back of the mouth to be darker, just to give that bit more of depth. Reminder that all of these are 3D printed, so if you're just hanging out, I'm like, oh cool, you can 3D print in color. No, not really. I just do this because it's fun. At some point though, it will be available on a consumer level, and I am ready. All right, I think that looks better. Though there are tentacles in his mouth still. Not gonna make that joke. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. Aloha said, what do we think about the eye being a bit bigger, like Clute's sketch in the Discord? Oh, he did, and that is kind of a key part of that. We think yes. We think Clute is a accomplished artist, and if they're going to take the time to sketch something, we're going to incorporate it because it's wonderful. Also, I see Shining Star and Galvaro has entered our Discord, I'm assuming from the stream, so hello. If you're a lurker, I'm sorry for shouting you out. You're probably like, defeats the whole purpose. But I must show you love, it's what I do. Maybe we need a meme channel. Yeah, y'all have lots to say. I love it. We need many channels. We are going to make the eye kind of like that rule I mentioned of 25% bigger. And then there we go. Yeah, big shout out to Clute as well for lending their artistic expertise to me as well. It is a gift and I super appreciate it. Clute says, it goes back to that, oh, my pleasure. I'm always looking for ways to evoke a dynamic pose and emphasize the S curve or C curve on the primary forms of the pose. Goes back to that gestural line model drawing experience or live model drawing experience. Yeah, I wish that I had been able to do that, but I did not go to school for art. I went for engineering. Oh, and Galvaro's here with a wave. Hi. Yeah, thank you for joining the Discord and thanks for being here. I'm glad you didn't mind me calling out your username. And Minnie Vlad says, also, I learn a bit more each show. I love that you called it a show because that is how I'm starting to think about it. And I'm thinking of having it be a little like, on my end, kind of structured of like segments that we do, different models, that kind of stuff. That improved it a ton. Nice job, Mia. Yes, yes. And then Blaze says, hopefully we made you feel a bit better. Always, always. And I love the claws now. I do. How cool. This is so cool. And to everyone that voted for the lobster claws, you were right. You were right. It looks so cool. All right, we're gonna lower this plate down the head to look a bit more like armor. And then I covered up a lot of that texturing that I had done as for like the brain coral. So we'll probably sink some of this in on the back so we can have kind of a happy medium of both. I also dislike that I don't have that gum line right here, somewhere where the teeth will actually sink in. So just taking a sandwich brush and running it along the teeth line, watch, it's gonna improve the teeth immensely. So this is the before, this is the after. Now taking that time to nudge this gum line around each tooth, it's a small detail, but it's really, really necessary. I'm gonna make some of these teeth a bit more forward facing like Aloha mentioned in the previous stream. He's just a cute little guy. Can you imagine seeing this just floating around down in the ocean? Do any of you guys have a fear of the ocean? I know that's a pretty common one. I don't know if I've talked about this on my live streams before, but I'm actually scuba certified, so I've spent a decent amount of time underwater. Ella is not just scuba certified, but she's actually a dive master, which means she has spent literal thousands of hours underwater. I think it'd be cooler if there was some more teeth tucked back kind of like a vortex of teeth back there. I know we don't want to get too busy, but just another row of teeth, kind of like a shark, just kind of hidden back there would be nice. Beautiful. Monkey says, I grew up on the beach. No kidding. Well, I'm assuming you were not afraid of the ocean. Maybe ironic if you were. All right. Blaze says, you might want to see how it looks now to take the seaweed out of the mouth. Oh yeah, that clipping in the back is just a mistake. I definitely should be moving that. Thank you for reminding me. There we go. We have brushed his teeth, so to speak. Beautiful. Clute says, I like smaller teeth and bigger gums. Agreed. Ella said, I didn't used to, but then I played Subnautica. Just kidding, I love the ocean. Subnautica is a fantastic game if you guys have not played it. Below Zero, the second one's also quite good. Oh, Ella, did you know they're making another Subnautica game in the series by the same developers? That was announced at the end of last year. We should get a trailer around E3 time. Even though E3 doesn't happen anymore, technically, we still get news around the same time as each year. Taka says, not a fear, but it's mostly the one fear that gets close to being actual fear. And mostly it's Subnautica. Monkey said, I literally started surfing when I was like 5 years old. Zero fear of the ocean. Oh, that's awesome. I've been surfing a few times. Awful. It's very difficult. Been washing machine enough times to be like, that's not for me. Minnie Blaze says, you can 3D print in color, use a bamboo. That's true. Like, it's like to have like a multicolor, like this kind of thing, but there's not like shading on it per se. But you're right, there technically is 3D printing in color. Ella already knew, says, yes, I'm hyped for 2-player, and then we're talking about Subnautica still. All right, we're going to cut this back section off, close holes smooth, and then using back face mask to make this a nice thick piece. Then I'm also going to run through with my Z modeler brush and extrude some edges on the side. Inserting just a couple edge loops. Using extrude, not Q-mesh. Q-mesh tries to make a lot of intelligent decisions that I don't like. All right, kind of added up some lines here, just something really simple. I know it's looking a bit intense on the armor side. It's gonna come together. Just the process. And it's looking a bit too thick as well, so we'll kind of pinch that down. It's just something that I can create hard surface forms from later. It's gonna be really important to kind of push these spiked forms, which you can kind of see that Clute took these forms and improved upon them in his sketch in the Discord under general. All right, I'm gonna do auto groups, move topological, so I can grab just this top plate here and then continue to follow those forms. Clute also took this stock and moved it higher up the head, and I actually think that's a really smart idea. Also taking this down. At what point do I pay you? All right, looking fantastic. Ella says, I'm playing Below Zero right now. Definitely not as good as the base game, but I'm enjoying it. It is really good. It has a lot of like on land nonsense that I really didn't care for. But it's good. It's just not as scary. The areas are more refined too, like stuff is more intentional, but there's something about the ocean that's supposed to be vast that I didn't mind each area not feeling as curated in the original Subnautica. That's looking great. Monkey says, you're already paying us with the great content. And that's exactly why I strive to keep making the streams a little bit better each time. And by putting up with our peasanty ways. I'm so glad you're digging the peasant thing, Monkey, because I'm so here for it. Thank you, peasants, for being here. Taka says, yeah, Subnautica 2 will be multiplayer. Hype. Heck yeah. And then Blaze calling out the lurkers to quit being shy. I don't mind. A lot of you guys are at work, so just the fact that you guys have me here hanging out with you is an honor. You don't have to chat if you don't want to. Ella says, no spoilers, but I'm not a fan of Alan. Yeah, I get ya. I get ya. And then Blaze says, you're short of him on bottom teeth. Jaws, in all caps. You might be right. There's nothing stopping me from making another layer of teeth. So we're making that layer bigger. I've duplicated yet another. We're mirroring it and then making this one smaller. So it's more in the subtle details without making the design too busy. I do like that. I also think the top teeth are too long. There we go. Just steadily making improvements as we go. And then I forgot to do a gum line on the top. So it's doesn't look as intimidating anymore, does he? All right, adding that gum line on the top. There we go. And now I can go ahead and play with that. I guess I have to do like a dual gum line because there's dual teeth. This is a problem that I have not run into before. Dual gum line it is. Neat. There we go. He's looking more annoyed than angry now. I kind of like lazy, annoyed looking beholder. I'll probably fix it later, but I am enjoying this exasperated beholder. Blaze says, no, Subnautica 3? Technically, there's Subnautica, and then there's Subnautica below zero, so it's not College of Stripes Subnautica 2. And it is a smaller, almost, it's not a spin-off, but it kind of feels like that. Taylor says, as a pro lurker, sometimes I don't have the energy to chat. Oh, I completely agree. I mention this all the time, but unless I am the content, I do not talk. Ever. I don't know if I have actually chatted in a Discord other than my own. Ever. I get really shy, and if people like, I don't know. I just don't talk. I just don't talk. Aloha says, is anyone else looking at this guy and imagining him with a deep Boston accent? If I could grace you guys with an accent of any sort, I would. I just don't have any skill with speaking in accents whatsoever. Sometimes if I'm really tired of speaking softly, I come across almost a bit more like British in my pronunciation. And if I'm a bit more chatty, it comes out a bit more like Southern. That's just because I'm very influenced by the strong accent out here. But normally just a happy medium. Wolf says, maybe they could have 2 eyelids, or none at all. Yeah, I could just push that up. That is really jarring. Maybe that's worth a pull. There is a bottom eyelid in here down. there it is. All right, Control Z, fix. There is a bottom eyelid, it just got smushed down. Monkey says, I see him more with a surfer bro accent. Like, gnarly, bruh. Hey, Volt the Robot's here. Hi, welcome back. It's been a while. Volt says, he looks like he is done with everything. Like he's been dealing with IT issues all day. He needs a headset. I'm totally open to the idea of doing just like trash streams where we just make really goofy, dumb models, and giving this guy a headset would definitely be silly and great. All right, there we go. I have adjusted that bottom eyelid as per suggestion of Wolf, I believe. Yes. I don't know if I give enough credit to our non-artists giving suggestions. You guys also do a fantastic job. I put it in quotes because if you're giving good artistic suggestions, you're an artist. You know, it's funny. I actually was making a living off of my art for a few years before I felt comfortable calling myself an artist. There's just something that feels so pretentious or powerful about it. I don't know. It just felt like a word that I was very uncomfortable using to describe myself. This has improved immensely. Thank you. Minnie Blaze says, can you make the center of his eyelid go down just a bit in the middle? Sure thing. Oop. Let's go from the center, move topological. Bam, just a little bit. Monkey says, he's only annoyed because of his peasants bring him a priceless treasure. Can you imagine if you present him with like a fork, being like, my priceless treasure, my lord. And then he looks at you like this and he eats you. And it was a teddy bear. Beautiful. Corey says, yeah, I'm not an artist, just a dabbler. Which, I'm a big fan of that word too. Dabbler. Volt says, looks like you're gonna do LASIK surgery on him. Yeah, a little bit with all this smearing around of eyeballs. Have you guys seen videos of LASIK? I don't know why I've seen it. It's quite disturbing. Volt says, the term maker is easier for me. That's a great one, and especially if you have a spread of things or hobbies that you dabble in. Maker is a fantastic one. Aloha, me, after eating too much resin. Speaking of, for those that are like new and returning, so Volt, you can tell we have upgraded quite a bit around here. We're really leaning into the tavern theme, and I have YouTube memberships now. So if you guys are interested or just want to support the channel, but you don't want 3D printable models, you also get a mug. So down below us, we have Monkey with the banana, and then we have Aloha with her mug, her name, and then filled with blue resin. And then Non-Sleeper. They're not here right now, but they have one with bubbling ale. It's just a cute thing to support the channel. Though if you do want 3D printable models, just join my Patreon because then you get everything. But if you're just hanging out, you don't have a 3D printer, that's a great way to support the stream. Minnie Blaze says, you're not going to see a lot from the front. Oh, because of the tentacles, right? Well, that's kind of the beauty to having a 3D model, especially because these are usually tabletop minis, right? So every player is going to be seeing these from different angles. That's why I spend a lot of time making sure that the model looks interesting from every angle. But that is a good point. When I do pose that, which Clute was generous enough to provide a really good sketch, it's going to fix part of that problem. But I am going to go ahead and fan out his little tentacle mohawk to improve that just a touch. Excellent. And I do need to detail his tentacles here just a touch. There we are. I'm going to add some chisel organic shapes here and just kind of run over these with some light texturing, kind of playing with some shapes that I want. Making sure they're still going to complement the model, and also using back face masks to ensure that I don't have any clipping or funniness on the other side. Aloha says, excuse me, Mia, but I'm demanding this is my playable character. I mean, I guess you can do whatever you want, but this would... Good luck finding a DM that's going to let you play as a beholder. Just a little bit of texture here and there. I still want it to be mostly smooth, but I want to have some stuff that's going to grab like dry brushing or washes. So those are really the only techniques that I know how to paint with. Beautiful. Corey says, what are some tips for finding references for your projects? Do you just like Google images? Precisely. I do Google Images, Pinterest, and ArtStation are my favorite places to go for finding references. Blake says, my accent comes back when I'm around other folks with Southern accents. It's very powerful. It's hard to not fall into the sing-songiness of it. Even me just thinking about it's affecting the way I talk right now. But I never want people to think that I'm like, I don't know, mocking them. Monkey says, also, my mug is perfect, Mia. Tell Ricky thank you. I don't think I said that earlier. I think you did. You're very sweet. I know he knows you'd appreciate it. Monkey says, I'm from the South and I have zero accent. That is what you think, Monkey. Yeah, no, it's so funny. Like, even just driving around East Tennessee, whether you go like Knoxville, it's a lot of transplants, so it's pretty normal. But I live in a really small town, so it's very obvious that I am not from here. Like, and it's sweet though. A lot of people out here, they apologize for their accent. Like, I hope you can still, like, sorry if I'm hard to understand. I'm like, you get the right of way. You're from here. Don't worry about it. Wolf says, I adapt my accent when I talk to people who I'm talking to, mirror speaking. I do the same thing, but I don't mean to. That's why it bothers me. And then talking to Corey, yes, Google Images, Pinterest, and ArtStation are fantastic. Taka says, it's a reverse campaign. The players play a big bad evil guy and fight against dozens of parties trying to get rid of them. Sounds like a really fun campaign. Maybe a bit difficult for the DM to manage, but that's their problem. Aloha says, someone was in the other room listening to Mia talk. She must sound crazy. She keeps addressing a monkey and a wolf. Oh my god, you're telling me. So like my housemates are great. They're both military, which is why Ricky and I are also staying here before we buy our own house, because they're not here a lot of the time because they're military. And they're not like snobbish, but they're just not dorks, you know? It's like they don't play D&D or video games. And they know I live stream, and they do overhear what I say sometimes. They're just like, what are you doing? They're not quite clear on what we do for a living, but they just know I do my nerd stuff, and you guys are very nice to me. Monkey says, I don't know, Mia and Ella heard me talk once. Not sure if you two remember, but I'm pretty sure both could vouch. The Southern twang was not present. Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, technically everyone has an accent, but I totally forgot, Monkey, that we did that. And yeah, no, you sound like me. All right, it's been about 2 hours. I am getting tired. Very, very happy to hang out with y'all. But I think I'm gonna close up for the day because I'm mentally and artistically sleepy now. So I'll probably button this up. I'm gonna call this guy finished for the most part until he gets a small pose on him. But I might not even stream that because it's a pretty simple, though impactful pose. So we're gonna get a nice splay on here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and head on out. I like to end the streams on like a high point too. But rest assured, I'll be back tomorrow in case you're like, wait, I needed more. Beautiful. Aloha says, when you send in a screenshot of the Lich to Discord, please call him Pookie Bear or the Tavern will riot. I have heard your request. Beautiful. You guys are an absolute hoot. Goodness. All right, I'm gonna head on out, okay? If you're having a good time, like the stream, having a great time, you can subscribe and then YouTube will yell at you when I live stream again. It's pretty much every day around noon Eastern time. I start as early as 11 or as late as 1, just ballpark by noon, and I usually appear. Kind of like Beetlejuice, just say M3DM 3 times and I should just show up. But in the meantime, I also announce that on Discord. If you want 3D printable models, there's a link in the description for that. And then I also teach. So if you want a mentorship program directly from me, I also provide that. That's the whole gist of it. That's everything I do. Thank you guys so much for being here. It really is a delight. You guys make my job even better than it already is. All right, you take care of yourself and I'll see you all tomorrow, okay? Bye.